This is the Situation Room on this 12th day of September 2023. Live on Spice FM, KTN Home, online, on Facebook and on YouTube. Today, 12th. Next week, another week. And then come October. And then come the 29th of October. And then we run.
We'll start running. And then everybody's asking, why are you running?
Why are you running?
Well,
where are you running to?
Murife, don't run.
We are running because it's good to run. Hey, it's the 20th edition of the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon. It's happening on the 29th of October. We're taking off from Uhuru Gardens on Sunday morning, isn't it? And all these wonderful things have happened as a result of that. But what must you do to prepare? Get on to www.nairobimarathon.com, register with 2,000 shillings, start to train, and get going with the business. If you're going to participate in the virtual run, that doesn't mean that you run in your head. No. You actually run, CT, but you record your times on a leaderboard, and then people can see those timings. And then you compare with those folks who are going to participate in the physical run come the 29th. C'est ça? Now, it's the 20th edition of the Nairobi Standard Chartered Marathon. It's been happening for 20 years, so this is a special one. All proceeds from this run go towards the Future Makers program, which helps young people, especially girls and those with disability, to learn, earn, and grow. Let's do it.
That's a very good thing. It's a very good thing. You know, the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon has even become an international event and a tourist attraction. And let's talk about tourism now. We're joined by two gentlemen in the studio. One of them is Dr. Fred Kithitu. He is the chairman of the Kenya Association of Travel Agencies. Or agents. Is it agents or agencies, Dr. Kithitu?
Yeah, it's at Kenya Association of Travel Agents. And
Agents.
Dr. Joseph Kithitu, not Fred.
Oh, did I say Fred? I mixed. Dr. Joseph Kithitu and Fred Odek. Fred is the chairman of the Kenya Association of Tour Operators, and also the chairman, should start with the big one, chairman of the Kenya Tourism Federation, and chairman of the Kenya Association of Tour Operators. Good morning, Fred.
Morning, sir.
No, you're not the Joseph. You're the Fred.
I am
The Joseph,
The Joseph is the doctor.
Is the one sitting
It's
next
the
to me.
Dr. Joseph.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Karibuni sana, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. To welcome you with a cup of tea, CT Muga is here. Wajua chai, everywhere you go, chai. And chai bila maziwa sio chai. It has a different name. And chai na maziwa kidogo sio chai. It also has a different name. Chai na maziwa proper ndio chai. Chai kweli.
Kenyan tea.
Kenyan tea. Chai kweli ni dairy best. Dairy best, long life milk. You can go and buy a whole box because it's long life. Keep it there. Just keep serving. And especially for tour operators, when you're out there in the field and you're beba maziwa yako hapa, works well that way. City has the day's proverb. This week's proverb, City are from?
Sierra Leone.
Alrighty.
Do you know that the name Sierra Leone actually is derived from a Portuguese word? Yes. The Portuguese were among the first Europeans to actually visit that particular part of the world. Yes. It was famous for slaves. The things that brought them to that part of the world and many parts of West Africa was slavery. A very lucrative trade at that particular point in time. When a single hair has fallen from your head, you are not yet bald.
When a single hair has fallen from your head,
Yes.
you are not yet bald.
Bado.
I don't want to start with Dr. Joseph Kithitu, so you may think I'm picking on him. So let me start with Fred. Fred, what do you make of this proverb?
I believe he's talking about life being a process,
Yes.
and the little you lose does not make you lose everything.
Oh, very well put.
And if I look at it in terms of why we are here, we're here to talk about an industry. And where you started from, you told us about milk, that is long life, that we can carry in our boxes and actually spend it little by little. And from the analogy he's giving us, is in life you lose a little. It doesn't mean that you've lost everything.
Good perspective. Dr. Kithitu?
Yeah, and he said that. I was like, "Do I have hair that has fallen?" And I realized I was bald and didn't have it. But the context of this is that you still have hope. You still have an opportunity to do something as long as you have a last breath with you. You can shoot far. You can shoot at distance. It doesn't matter how far it is. But as long as you have something kicking within you, you can do something. You have not dropped it. So there's hope at the end of, people say another tunnel, but there is hope even immediate where you are. Yes.
You don't have to wait for the end of the tunnel.
No, tunnel is far.
Even wherever you are, in the middle of the tunnel, or the beginning of the tunnel, there's hope. That's a good way to look at it. Dr. Kithitu, what is Kata, the Kenya Association of Travel Agents?
Thank you. So I'm the chairman of Kata, but I want to define what Kata is all about.
Yes.
Kata stands for Kenya Association of Travel Agents. This is the umbrella body that works with all the travel providers in terms of bringing order and the structures into the way travel trade is done. So what this body does is basically, it's a self-regulated body. We are regulated by an act of parliament. So it's what we call self-regulation. But there are players within the travel trade. And travel, we're talking about people that issue tickets, that people that move others by air, by road, and more so, especially this side, we specialize on travel. And what we do is that we create rules and regulations as how travel is going to be done with codes of conduct and creating ethics and setting a pace in terms of standardization of travel. So it's a professional body. It's just not a marketplace. It's a professional body that has got the training arm.
So the people who are members of these are the travel agents. What's a travel agent?
Yes. Now, a travel agent has moved far. It's a specialist in travel. A travel agent is somebody who leads you, who is an arranger, who is a planner on your travel journey, who basically advises you, is a safety net for you if you want to move, and all of us keep moving. But a travel agent, by definition of an agent, you are a middleman. So an agent is offering a solution that is being managed by somebody else. In this case, an agent will be doing a flight ticket, and this flight is being managed by an operator like KWS. So the travel agent here, or the consultant or the consulate, will be able to guiding you that process of moving from Kenya to the airport, to get to a plane and land to Dubai, and what you do in Dubai. So is that person who comes in to make your life easy.
So walks and flies and drives the journey with you all the way from the beginning to the end. Sawa. How about the Kenya Tourism Federation, Bonodek? What is the Kenya Tourism Federation?
Thank you, Eric. You've heard of Kata, which is just explained to you.
Yes.
Then we have Kato.
Yes.
Then we have the hotel keepers.
Yes.
Then we have driver guides. Then you have the airlines. All those are BMOs that work within the travel industry. Now, the federation is the umbrella body that actually brings them all together. And the reason for that is that when you want to talk to government, you cannot bring Kata, bring Kato, bring driver guides, bring
hotel keepers,
bring airlines. You let them share all their issues, put them together, and then tell government, as an industry, these are our issues. It becomes easy for you to lobby and to drive policy with government. And that is the main role of KTF.
Of the federation.
Of the federation.
So it brings in together the various
it
other
is the umbrella body that
associations.
Houses all the associations in tourism to enable them to actually talk to government in one unison voice.
Okay.
Number two, if you look at the way the Kenyan business is structured, we have KEPSA, which is the national body for private sector.
Yeah.
And that has a wing that talks to government. And it has got what is called the national, the governing council in KEPSA. Now the tourism sector has to feed into that sector through the KEPSA. KEPSA through the KTF, which is the umbrella body. So you cannot have the smaller BMOs sitting on the same governing council. So that's where KTF sits in the governing council.
Okay.
To talk to government.
So Kata and Kato are members of KTF.
Correct.
What is Kato?
Now, Kato is for tour operators. He told you about travel agents.
Yeah.
Now, travel agents basically do mostly outbound. All right? Now, tour operators are the guys who bring you tourists inside the country. And they run the operation. They're just agents like the other ones. But now theirs is mainly to bring tourists in the country, do the program for them, ensure that they have vehicles, hotels, restaurants, all that put in one package, which somebody can buy and then enjoy in the country. So those are tour operators.
Clear.
So you have got two sectors. You have got travel agents that sends people out, mostly to do outbound packages, flights, your holiday in Dubai, Seychelles, wherever, is done by travel agents. Tour operators mainly will bring you tourists in the country to consume what the country has to offer. Our wildlife, our beaches, our museums, all that you have, our clubs, our golf courses, we sell that through tour operators. All right? Now, those two sometimes intermingle. You'll find one company doing the both. They do outbound, inbound.
Yeah.
Okay? But they have got two licenses. They've got a license for travel agent and they have a license for
For tour operator.
because you must have a license for those different two categories of work that you do. Right?
Okay. So oftentimes you can form a tag team
Yes.
whereby there are things that are going on in the country with the tour operators will handle, and then we will now be able to pass off, essentially possibly the same group of people to a tour agent who will then, send them off on their way or bring them into the country.
Correct.
So you can work in tandem with one
Yes,
another.
correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, if we look at what's currently going on in the country, if we want to use Nairobi National Park as an example, who would be involved in this scenario? Before we even go to the nitty-gritty of exactly what's going on, who would be involved in this scenario when then it meant that folks who want to access the national park then get a day or two of the scenery? Who would be directly involved in those operations?
By and large, tour operators are most involved because they have got guests in the country that they want to show the country. So they enter the parks. You already collected money from the guests. You pay the parks and you show them. If you look at the way the city is built, these are business city. So there's a big group of people who also basically access the park directly.
Yep.
So they don't need an operator to do anything for them.
Yes.
They basically pick their own car, drive to the gate, pay and enter.
Okay.
That's one group. Group two is what we call organized travel. And organized travel is whereby a tour operator has got his clients to send to the park. You collect money from them, then you pay the park, then you show them. A travel agent may have the same thing. He may be having his own guests who came in to do business. They've requested they want to be sent to the park. All he needs to do is talk to his partner in tour, give him a vehicle to run the same. So travel agents, tour operators, and the common citizens in the country have got a very big interest in what happens in our parks. Right? And the governing of the parks is done by KWS, which means what is their role? Two roles. One is manage the park, which means control what happens within that park.
Yep.
And two, levy the fees that we need to pay and collect it. Okay? On behalf of the government.
Right.
So once you tell us how to pay and we pay you and how much it's supposed to be paid, we are supposed to now enjoy the services of that park. That's all.
Okay.
It's a very simple and seamless process and it's been happening for ages.
Yes.
So that is where our interaction with the parks ends.
Okay.
All right?
Right.
Good.
Now, of recent,
Yes.
we've seen what many people say is chaos, calling it a crisis, whereby specifically for the Nairobi National Park and how to access it on Langata Road, there have been queues, there's been traffic, there are cars lined up as people are trying to get in to access the park. What on earth is going on?
Thank you. So basically what is going on is it's a change process. And the government, like any other institution, through the KWS, which is still one of the arm of the government, went to a new process of getting park entry processing payment through a new system, which they're calling it. You have to do it through the ECitizen process. Basically, all the government services are being centralized. It's a good move, so to say. But what is happening is that it's a new system that is being introduced, teething problems at the peak and at the peak of the business. what do you get? Crisis. So basically, it's a change at the peak of the business, and there's no time to learn. As we can find vehicles on the road, they are waiting, they're doing everything. Nobody understands, neither the operators, neither the owners of the system. We normally say it's a confused market. Yes.
What
But
is
I
this
don't
new
understand.
system?
What's the problem? Yeah.
Okay, so basically, and Fred will also allude to it more. What the new system entails is that previously, what you would have had to do, you want to go to a park,
Yes.
you had an option. You could even walk to the gate and be told it's a Kenya shilling or $1 payment. How much is it? I pay by a card, by M-Pesa. Most likely, they were not taking cash. You would pay by M-Pesa, by card. And you get a receipt, walk into the park and drive and do your things. So with the change of the system, basically, the government says transactions to be done through ECitizen. Okay? So what that does mean, all of us do have ECitizens for passports, for other things, driving license and all that. It means that you have to go in, log there, process your park fee tickets through there. You get an e-slip, kind of as a paper. You make a payment through M-Pesa, you can make through there. The challenge we're having is around fintech. Fintech is around the dollar kind of it. You need to pay park fees by dollar. M-Pesa doesn't have dollar. That's where now the rubber meets the road. Let's start from there.
Everyone is paying. Every payment being made by locals as well as visitors is pegged to the dollar or is by the dollar.
No. Locals pay by shilling, but there are some park fees that you need to pay by dollar, especially the
If
foreign.
you're a non-resident.
Yeah, the non-resident. We want to move the word foreigners. They're not foreigners, non-residents. And that one challenge on its own. Leave about the rest. It's a new system. You have to have ECitizen. Maybe you don't have a smartphone. It's not a must. There's no law. You must have a smartphone. You go there, you will not do anything. So assume you have a smartphone. Let's just take a normal person. You have a smartphone. You can access internet and everything. But where's your money? Where are your dollars?
My dollar is in my card, in my account.
Or in the bank.
And now here, this system requires you to make a payment. How do you pay that?
Okay.
So
let's just back
that's
up.
one of the challenges you do face. But there are more than that,
Okay.
especially around the paperwork.
Okay, can we do this? So, usually, what used to happen, and I know this because at some point, being a non-resident, going to the park, you would then be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Convert with the rate of the day to Kenya shillings and then pay in cash, right? And then you would pay as a non-resident. You would pay. Now, what we are saying is that all of these payments will only be digital, obviously, because of the ECitizen. And then the payment mode on ECitizen, there's no card option. The only payment mode is M-Pesa, the little tab for M-Pesa. There's no card option whereby a non-resident could put in their card details, for example. That does not exist?
It does exist.
Okay.
Let me back up a bit what the problem is. If you look at the old model of payment that was being done at KWS, and the new system that have been brought, only two problems arrived. One, it was a rushed implementation. There was no time to educate whether there's an operator, whether there's an individual. No one told them what to do. So they ended up in that crisis. The people at KWS themselves did not know what to do. And number three, we had a problem whereby there was no backup system. If you are having a new system, our understanding as an industry is that you run them parallel. You run the old system and the new system over a period of time, maybe 30 days, and say, we are on trial
Transitioning.
mode. We are going to move from this system to this system. What happened to the industry was somebody gave an instruction and they said from Monday,
Okay.
I want you to be on ECitizen.
And it's Friday afternoon.
Correct.
Okay.
So they shut it down and they say, go to eCitizen. We have no problem. If there was enough people to train people to do what to do, we're not here to challenge government. We are business people. Our job is very simple. Provide us means how to trade with you, we'll trade with you. That's simple. We are business people. We want to make profits. The shenanigans are not our thing. Now, that did not happen. Now, we went into a weekend. This is where the whole problem became a nightmare. We went into a weekend. The weekend means that the support structures are actually minimized. And then the system crashed.
Crashed.
Yes. The system was actually down. The
So the
E-Citizen,
ECitizen platform
correct,
was down
it was down,
on this particular weekend.
and it is down at 6 a.m.
Right.
And it's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. What happens in the wildlife viewing? There are a window that you need to go and view the wildlife. Morning time is the prime time for viewing wildlife. So you run into that time, and you only have 2 hours or 3 hours to do that, and then you're out.
Yeah.
And so you have got driver guides who have collected money from clients who are waiting at the gates to enter. No one could assist them
Why are they waiting at the gate?
because
Fred?
they can't pay.
And if you can't pay, you can't enter.
They can't make payments.
So they collected money from their clients. Did they attempt to log on to ECitizen?
It's down.
Okay.
They're trying to log into
And
it.
so now they are coming, trying to.
So they ran to the gates. So they say, we have got these clients, we want to enter, but the citizen thing you're talking about is down. So what do we do? And the guy says, so, I'm sorry, we can't take
it's
money
only
because
Citizen.
the instruction says you pay there.
And since you can't pay, you can't enter.
And because you can't pay, you can't enter. So that is disruption.
Okay.
Now, as an industry, these are what we're looking for. It's an assumption that is made that payment of park fees should be done by individuals. This e-citizen thing, because everybody has their e-citizen number,
Assumption.
is an assumption, which is wrong. Tourism industry, when by definition when we came in here, you are given Kata and you are given Kato. Those BMOs do not work with individuals. Those are corporates. And so the payment of park fees in our country, by and large, the big chunk of money being paid is being paid by corporates.
Right.
Corporates require accountability. They want to move money from one bank account to the next bank account. If I've got 200 clients going to Amboseli in the morning and they're going to be there for 3 nights, I'm paying $60 times 3 times 200 people. It's not money I'm putting on my mobile phone. It's money I want to move from one bank account to the next bank account.
Okay. And
So-
by virtue of the fact that you spoke of operating people who've come into the country, the likelihood of these individuals paying one to the park separately is very low.
It's very low.
They're going to do a corporate
Correct.
payment.
Correct.
Okay.
So what we've requested, and this is what we did as an industry, we had these challenges. We did not go to the streets to demonstrate. We did not call for a press conference. We called KWS directly and called for a quick meeting. So we met KWS, we met ECitizen officials in one room. We gave them a matrix of what is not working quickly. And we told them we'd like you to basically make this thing work so that the businesses are not interfered with. Despite the fact that you brought it at the wrong time, we'll help to work with you to ensure that we can be able to actually streamline it. We gave them a raft of issues that we want done in a matrix. Key to them is we want them to have a corporate account on eCitizen that allows businesses to pay money directly from bank to bank. Provide an e-wallet that allows you that once you put your money in that, you can spend it in every park that you go, like they used to do before. It allows us accountability, paper trail, and movement of money, and avoid this thing of money laundering. This thing of you start of everybody carrying money in their pockets, small money, that's money laundering. Let's trade as businesses. Tomorrow I'm supposed to do my taxes. My taxes must show my money came from point A to point B, and for what reason? I paid money from my account to KWS.
KWS,
to run
not
a certain
from your
file.
account to driver to.
Not my account to driver. There's no business the driver has to carry money from my company. They need to carry money from my account to KWS account. Whether that account belongs to eCitizen, wherever, it has to show that I'm paying KWS. Once I pay KWS, I'm attaching that payment to a particular file. Tomorrow, KRA will come and ask me, this money you collected, $200,000 from the US, what is it for? I must show them where the money went. How do I account for KRA money that went to KWS through some driver who was carrying money in his M-Pesa? What if he does not pay? And he compromises somebody at KWS and uses the money differently? How do I prove it? So that's our one first request. Please provide a corporate account under the eCitizen. 2, link the banks, because even the banks were caught unaware. Most of the banks didn't know what to do. Even if you pay the money to the bank, they can't effect it to the eCitizen. So people are paying money to the bank and the money is hanging. Link the bank to the eCitizen to KWS so that if I pay, it reflects immediately and shows that I've paid money for KWS for park fee. So that it is easier for me to actually utilize that money in the park without asking the next person a question. If you do that, it means that you've moved the 90% of the big payers of park fee into the proper system that allows them to actually account for their money. Now, our second request, while we are doing what we are doing, let's do it as a partnership, whereby if we have got challenges, we are able to explain ourselves to you, and then you effect changes with us. The third challenge you're having now, after making all this raft of requests, the instructions given to government agencies to go to ECitizen is not in tandem with what happens back at the Treasury. Anything they want to do has to go back to Treasury for approval. They're not in a hurry.
Who's not in a hurry?
Treasury is not in a hurry. It's 2 weeks since we made this raft of changes that we want to be done, and we're just telling you how to actually make sure that you can get our money quickly. And we are stuck. Because Treasury has not made the approval for them to put, I don't know, the e-wallet. They've not made approval for them to do the corporate account. Now, ask yourself this question. You're saying you want to collect more money. All right? How do you collect more money if the biggest payers cannot pay you?
Let's take a break.
We need it.
We need to breathe. 26 minutes to 8. Hey. So we've seen on social media the issues and the delays at the national parks with visitors and guests arriving at the gates of the national park, and they've told, okay, you've got to pay and to enter here, and you've got to use ECitizen, and there have been all these what we call teething problems. It's one of the things that we keep calling in this country teething problems, when there's some mere incompetence in very many cases. Well, we're discussing that this morning with industry stakeholders. Fred Odek is the chairman of the Kenya Association of Tour Operators and also the chairman of the umbrella Kenya Tourism Federation. Dr. Joseph Kithitu is the chairman of the Kenya Association of Travel Agents. Back shortly. Keep it here. Don't go away.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Dr. Joseph Kithitu, the chairman of the Kenya Association of Travel Agents, Fred Odek, the chairman of the Kenya Tourism Federation, are our guests this morning. And we're talking about the new delays and problems we're facing implementation of the ECitizen directive. So the president, a couple of weeks ago, comes in and says, all right, so we are trying to push all our services on the ECitizen platform. So it makes it easier and more efficient for citizens to get government services. And then he says, let's also harmonize the payment. So we also all pay through one account, one pay bill number, and it all harmonizes government revenues. So all goes there. And he says, can we roll this out? And the directive is given. Now the implementing agencies, all those different government departments have got to take that, look at how they deal with their people, and work out a modality of making sure that all their stakeholders, number one, understand the new directive, and number two, that the system is seamless. Now, what I'm hearing from you two gentlemen is that, number one, there was no conversation between this agency called the Kenya Wildlife Service and its main stakeholders, who are, for example, the tour operators.
Correct.
And the system is then implemented. The system, those who are manning the system at KWS gates don't have sufficient power or authority to say what happens if a system collapses. Those with sufficient authority are not fast enough to respond and react to what's happening. And that's a frustration that I hear, Dr. Kithitu, isn't it?
Perfect, true. That's the problem. Require somebody just to think forward and fix the problem. You know, look, it's at the peak of the business in terms of tourism. So such a time you can lose what you think you're going to you wanted to make more, you might lose and create a frustration. So what we are seeing in this situation, we expect, where we see that the travel trade, we expect things to move. Not to be haggled around not moving. Because we have clients who have paid us the money, and look, the clients want service, pure, period. So you cannot start saying this is not working, it will not work. So what we have pushed through, there have been a lot of consultative meetings to discuss this matter. We all hope where we sit as operators that this will be fixed at the earliest time possible, today. That's our intention, because we have guests going to the park today, tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So really, these are real-time situation problem.
2 weeks have passed since this meeting happened between the operators, the umbrella body, between KWS, and still we see that nothing can happen. And for me, what I'm trying to understand here is that, sure, a directive was given that this needs to happen, but what would have been so wrong, and maybe you're not even the ones to answer this, but what would have been so wrong to say, all right, we can do it, but we need a couple of days to be able to implement it, as opposed to throwing thousands of people into this chaos where nothing till today, as we speak, 12th of September, is still not working. And what are we saying?
Even further than that, Ndu, understanding that this meeting that we are calling with the stakeholders, there's also an extra stakeholder, the National Treasury.
Exactly.
Have the National Treasury at the meeting.
The challenge we have is that when you're dealing with government agencies, you may not see all of them in one mirror. The issue is that operators need to enter the park, and the park owner is KWS. So you are channeling your energy to KWS.
Yes.
Then they tell you, no, we are not the problem. It's ECitizen. Then you call ECitizen, and they tell you, we can do that, but
Treasury
has to make some approvals. So you've got a layer of agencies in the line that don't see the agency of what you're trying to do as a business person. And then we have another challenge, which I'm seeing now cropping up. Before we can even iron out what is affecting us, there is a bit of somebody saying, you guys are basically not fighting the system. You don't want to comply.
This is corruption fighting back.
Correct. You don't want to comply because you want to safeguard the old system, which is not the truth. What we are saying as business people under the tourism and all the BMOs that we serve is that give us an efficient system.
Sure.
We have told you how it works and how the businesses are working. Like right now, let me give you an example. If you actually do the corporate account and allow the payment for bulk dollar payments, okay, you've actually ironed up the main problem. Now, ask yourself a question. All these parks in Kenya, who is the biggest consumer? Is it the local person or the foreigner? It's the foreigner.
It's the foreigner, yes.
Correct? Now, you can't charge somebody 4 times the money you charge the local person and still frustrate him. They actually work on a time schedule, because if you fly from, let's say you fly from the US to Kenya, you are here for 10 days. Your 10 days count from the day you arrive. If you are supposed to be
scheduled.
Yes, if you're supposed to be in the national park in the morning, you must be there, and if you miss it, you've missed it. If you're going to Amboseli the next morning, you need to enter Amboseli by 12 midday. If you miss it, you've missed it. Anybody keeping you away from that process is basically wasting your time and money and ruining the experience.
Yeah.
Now, we as the operators, this is what we are saying. We know what the client needs. We are partners with KWS. We've been working with them all this time. Just provide an enabling environment, and we've given you exactly what we need. Get those approvals done quickly, then even the environment. Because the peak season people are talking about is July to mid-October. We only have a month to go.
And it's gone.
It's gone. This so-called peak season has got only 1 month to go. By the time we go to mid-October, there's no high season. Imeisha. It's gone. So what we're going to have from that point going forward is a normal trickle season. Now, the government is looking for employment. The government is looking for revenues. The government is struggling with the dollar exchange rate. I'm bringing that money on your doorstep, but you're playing around with it. I'm giving you that money on your doorstep. What I'm saying, provide a platform to collect it. I'm here to work with you. Let's remove this thing of, I don't know, corruption is fighting back on everything else. Let's just make it work.
Let me ask you, Frank.
We accept the system, make it work, and we'll support you. 100%.
There's a mantra called the whole government approach
Yes.
in how things are done in this country. No, it's one government.
Correct.
When it's one ministry, it's one government. Don't look at it in terms of ministries and silos.
Correct.
So you're under the Ministry of Tourism and
Tourism,
Wildlife.
Yes.
KWS is also under the same ministry.
Correct.
ECitizen is under the ICT ministry.
Correct.
The National Treasury is the National Treasury.
Correct.
Those are just 3 ministries.
Correct.
Yes.
Have you reached out to your parent ministry and told them, can you one government deal with one government and sort us out?
Under KTF, this is how we work. We first of all talk to the parent ministry and tell the ministry, these are the challenges we're having. And because we are business people, we don't waste time waiting for you to sort out yourself. We'll go ahead and talk to KWS. We'll go ahead and talk to ECitizen very quickly. And if need be, talk to Treasury quickly. And present the formula that is required to resolve the problem. As a business, we don't look at ministries. We look at where the shoe is pinching and we fix it. When we had an issue here of the visa, we did not wait for Ministry of Tourism to come and sort visa. We went to the immigration officers, spoke to them and explained to them where the visa is as a problem. And we got a reprieve on how to make that work.
The e-visas.
When I had the COVID problem in the country, I did not sit back and wait for the Ministry of Tourism to help me with COVID issues. I went to the Ministry of Health and sat with them, explained to them how my industry works, and I even actually got vaccines from the government and distributed. And we managed to open too. Now, we do not wait for a ministry. We look at government as a whole. That's why we have an umbrella body. So we work with the government as a whole to ensure that whatever problem we are having, we get a solution. Because as business, the more you wait, you lose.
Can I ask you?
Yes.
So this came out 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Are we saying that in 2 weeks that there's only then been a trickling of people into the national parks? Because this is not a Nairobi issue only. This is a countrywide issue. If every park where there will be access granted, you must pay via ECitizen, isn't it?
This is what people have done. And business people are very creative people.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to lose money. Because if you don't provide the service, you have to return the money to the client.
Right.
You have to refund the money. So basically right now, while we are fighting and telling government that we need the corporate accounts open, our members, which are the big players, are actually trading through drivers. They are putting money in every driver's phone to pay
on ECitizen.
ECitizen. They've looked for every way to ensure that this thing works so that they do not refund money to clients. Because again, there are contracts signed here.
Yeah.
If you breach that contract, the cost for that breach is more than these little things that you're going to go through calling teething problem in our country. So, despite all these challenges, we are managing to get guests into these parks. But even the guests can see you're struggling. Because every time you need to get somewhere, the driver has to do something, people are spending so much time making payments.
On admin stuff.
Making payments, which if you do what I'm asking for, it is a one payment in the system. I basically log into my bank account and I pay you
An amount,
$40,000 and I operate for the whole week. And that money is with government already.
Is the e-Citizen operational?
It is operational.
No, it's operational.
It is operational.
It's operation. It's a challenge of getting
challenge
into it.
is-
I'm actually trying to log into it. I'm on ECitizen.
The
Then I
challenge-
scroll down all the services to KWS. Then
The challenge you're having is that it is one thing that we are really advocating for. E-Citizen is meant for individual transactions,
Oh, not corporate.
not corporate. We want them to make E-Citizen because it is the approved system by government for payments. We as tour operators and travel agents and hoteliers and even the airlines that are in the business of bringing you tourists, we want them to actually provide the corporate angle into E-Citizen.
Would it have helped if indeed before this particular scheme was implemented, if your organization and all those who are in the tourism industry were asked to give their opinion? Do you think this thing might have worked better?
We'd have sorted it in a day because we'd have just told them exactly what we need. And then what they did is restructure the system into that manner. What you need is the system. This is what we need. Please plug this in and then it works. It's very simple. There is nothing magical into it. The challenge we had is even after telling them what we wanted and they tweaked it a bit, we realized that the banks are not ready because you do a transfer to the bank cannot effect it into ECitizen. It's manual. So somebody has already made a payment, and then now they're calling, I paid ECitizen, but it's not affected. The bank is not affecting it. And then you're being told, oh, wait, that part of it is still manual. Somebody has to go and do something. So if we had a conversation before, we would have seen all these challenges and ironed them. But now, where we are is ECitizen is working. It is too much of a process to deal with, and it does not bring accountability to corporates. Now, what we are requesting is a very simple thing. Please open the corporate account on ECitizen so that tour operators and travel agents and air operators and hoteliers who are running safaris in the country can pay money company to company. We are paying from company A to KWS, company B to KWS, so that we can account for the money. Please don't forget, in the middle of all this, there is a tax issue on the money that you hold in your hand as a business. And tomorrow, convincing the taxman that you gave money to a driver, I don't know, go and do what with it, will not fly. And if you're talking about $100,000, you will not be believed that you gave $100,000 to a driver.
I mean, are you crazy?
To go and I don't know, pay who. And the paperwork is not clear. It is so simple.
And you can't even merge their own M-Pesa statements into
Correct.
the corporate M-Pesa
The
statement.
easiest thing to do is open the corporate account so that I move money from my account to KWS and I get one receipt, which I file.
Is there, from what you see, because it sounds, I mean, we're sitting in this room and it sounds like it's very basic. It seems like a no-brainer in terms of what ought to be done. But then the question is, then why isn't it being done? Because if we're saying that it has stopped at Treasury now, what's Treasury doing? Treasury has too many other things to do. Treasury is saying, okay, we need to look at this in another manner. Treasury is saying, okay, we'll come to it. Where are we? Because if it continues to be a headache and we have all of these issues piling up one to the other, it continues to be frustrating. So it would be very interesting to hear where they're saying they are, because that seems to be where everything is stuck.
Yeah, maybe I can clarify this. It's all not in the dark. Things are working. It's the accountability process that is really a mess. The first days when the system was down, that was quite a big issue. What the operators now are fighting for is moving the system to a robust system, accountability, and making it seamless process. These things will come into place. A good example in this kind of system implementation is Kenya Revenue Authority. They are very good in how they implement their systems. Very good. They take time, and they even walk the client. You know, many times we never think KRA will be that friendly, but it's a place to borrow from, especially on how they roll new systems. They even put a window period, and you try it, it doesn't work, you have an option B and all that. So what we are seeing here with ECitizen, at the moment, guests are not stranded 100% in terms of not entering the pack. The system that is being used to go through the pack is not accountable, is not friendly to a corporate setup. That's what the operators are saying. These issues have been put into place. We are confident 100% they will be aligned. The fintech side is not up to speed where you pay. You have made a payment. Exactly. When you do a KRA payment, you get an e-slip a number. That e-slip number, you pay on it, it reflects on your KRA, it clears the pending bill, and you are good to go. This time, you pay to the bank, and the amount has not gone to the ECitizen. It's still waiting somewhere. Those are the few things, the fintech connectivity solutions to be fixed. So we have this problem because first, the peak period. We know the peak period, we are going to have a period that has been full of problems. But I think we will not reverse the process. I don't see the process being reversed. It's more perfected. It has taken time. It has caused pain. It has caused accountability issues. But by and large, I think it's a lesson that has been learned and being learned in a painful way.
Dr. Kithito, are you sure the lesson has been learned?
And by whom?
First of all, there is pain. Who has felt the pain? The pain has been felt by the operators.
Yeah.
From the other side, this bureaucracy, there is knowledge, there is a lot of harms that are involved into it. Really, whether they have had the pain or not, it's not here nor there. We have no measuring tools to this. But we believe they have had. There's a lot of engagement to it to believe that they will improve the system. It's just to put a simple thing, corporate account.
Actually, there is a measuring tool. You see, you work in an industry where you measure success by several indicators.
Sure.
The number of repeat guests, the numbers of paying guests, increased number of people who visit your parks, your museum. You can measure. It's not difficult. If you're talking about the hospitality industry and hotels, the increased bed capacity, conferencing capacities, you can measure it. Now, if you have a system that interferes with this, you can also measure and see the harm is being done here and here and here and here. And this is what it means. Because in your industry, reputation is everything.
Yes.
If that is dented, the visitors don't care whether ECitizen was working. That's not their problem. They didn't come all the way from their country to learn about what ECitizen is. And if it doesn't work, they'll tell you they're going to Tanzania or they're going to Rwanda or they're doing whatever. What I'm asking is, do you people you have the organization, do you have a lobby group, a group that foresees problems of this nature, and before something of this sort happens, they are busy talking to people in government to forestall what could actually happen?
Yes, we do. The reason why actually we have the BMOs is for them to lobby government at all times. The challenge we have on the current administration is that you don't have the window to lobby.
What do you mean?
Because if somebody made a statement this week, you don't know where that statement is going. A statement is made in a gathering that was being done somewhere out of town. And the president says, from what we are doing, we are going to have all the payments done in one system. In your hindsight, as a business person, you're thinking, okay, are we talking about KRA? What are we talking about? You don't know who they're talking about. For the longest time, parastatals have always remained autonomous in terms of how they collect their money, how they run their systems, how they report. You haven't seen any change happening in the legislature that says now all these bodies are no longer on their own. All right? So even if you want to lobby, what are you challenging? And then you wake up the next day, you see an email saying all payments for so and so have been now moved from this to this. So you are basically on the back foot.
Mr. Deck, you know where the lobbying comes in.
Yes.
It's not to challenge, but it's to query the very thing you say. A statement is made. You ask, Chief.
Wait, what does this mean?
Where is this going?
Now,
what plan do you guys have?
this time round,
Yes.
we've normally asked a lot of things. When everything is being done, the legislature, something is coming up, a bill is coming up,
Yes.
you know what to expect.
Yes.
And you sit with parliamentarians and you look at the clauses they're doing. And you ensure that they don't do anything without you being in the room. Now, we do that perfectly. As I'm talking right now, the changes that are being done in the country right now, they are like... Now, by the time, by the time you are actually talking to someone on what has happened,
It has already happened.
you are 2 steps behind. So now, what as an industry, what we are doing, instead of going to have a lobby, and we are now lobbying in terms of, okay, you've done that, let's help you do it in a better way.
Perfect. Yeah.
Can we help you do this in a better way?
In a way
And that's why we quickly met with KWS, met with ECitizen, and told them, we appreciate you in the room, but the things we are doing needs us to let you know how we operate.
It is basic implementation of a project.
Correct.
Stakeholder engagement. It starts there.
Yes.
Government, please. Come on. I mean, government is not new. Government has been there. It's
Correct.
Anyway, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Fred Odek is the chairman of the Kenya Tourism Federation and the Kenya Association of Tour Operators, and Dr. Joseph Kithitu is the chairman of the Kenya Association of Travel Agents. Keep it here for more conversations in the next hour. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.